We all know him. Maybe he is a billionaire tech mogul. Maybe he is a celebrity. Maybe he is just a wealthy neighbor or a family member. He is the self-made man. He walks with his chest out. He looks at his chest out. He looks at his house, his cars, his bank account, and he says, "I did this. My brain, my hard work, my strategy. I built this empire and nobody can take it down." He believes he is invincible. He believes his wealth is a sign that the universe loves him, or worse, that he owns the universe. But what if I told you that this attitude, this specific type of arrogance, is the fastest way to lose everything? In Surah Al-Kahf, the chapter we are commanded to read every Friday to protect us from the Dajjal, Allah tells us a story. It is the parable of the two gardens. It is a story about two men. One had everything. The other had nothing. But in the span of one terrible night, the man who had everything was left wringing his hands in regret, staring at a pile of dust. This is not just a story about farming. This is a story about you, about your job, about your savings, about your ego. It is the story of the man who challenged God and lost. To understand the tragedy, we first have to look at the blessing. Allah describes the wealth of this man in vivid cinematic detail. He didn't just have a farm. He had a paradise on earth. We assigned to one of them 2 gardens of grapevines. Imagine 2 massive vineyards, rows and rows of lush green vines, heavy with sweet grapes. And we surrounded them with palm trees. The borders of the property were lined with tall, majestic date palms, acting like a fortress of food and shade, and placed between them fields of crops. Between the grapes and the dates, there was grain, corn, wheat, every type of produce. It was a complete ecosystem of wealth. And the best part, the efficiency. Each of the 2 gardens produced its fruit and did not fall short thereof in anything. 0 failure rate, no bad seasons, no bugs, no drought. Every single year, it was a bumper crop. It was a money printing machine. And to top it all off, Allah says, "And we caused to gush forth within them a river." He didn't even have to work for water. He didn't have to carry buckets or dig wells. A river flowed right through the middle of his property. It was effortless luxury. This man had what everyone today is chasing. Passive income, unlimited resources, total security. But wealth does something to the human heart if it is not protected by faith. It creates an illusion. The owner of the gardens began to look at his property, and he stopped seeing it as a gift. He started seeing it as a trait. He thought, "I have this because I am special." He had a friend, a poor neighbor, a man who had no gardens, no river, and no servants, but this poor man had Iman. One day, the rich man decided to flex on his poor friend. He wanted to put him in his place. The Quran records the conversation. And he had fruit, so he said to his companion while he was conversing with him, "I'm greater than you in wealth and mightier in men. I am better than you. Look at my followers. Look at my employees. Look at my bank balance. What do you have? You are nothing." This is the first crime. Arrogance towards people. But arrogance is a slippery slope. Once you think you are better than people, you start thinking you are independent of God. The rich man invited his poor friend for a tour. He wanted to show off. He walked into his garden. He looked at the thick trees, the rushing water, the mountains of fruit. He felt powerful. He felt eternal. And then he said the words that sealed his fate. He said, "I do not think that this will perish ever. This is too big to fail. Look at these trees. They are strong. This river, it's never going to dry up. This is forever." He denied the reality of decay. He denied the reality that everything in this world is temporary. And then he went a step further. He challenged the afterlife. "And I do not think the hour will occur. Judgment Day? The end of the world? I don't think so. Look at how stable my life is. Why would God destroy this?" And then the ultimate delusion, the logic that many rich atheists or arrogant people use today. And even if I should be returned to my Lord, I will surely find better than this as a return. Listen, if there is a God, clearly he likes me. Look at all this stuff he gave me. If I die, I'm going to get the V treatment in the next life too. I'm a winner here, so I'll be a winner there. He used his worldly success as proof of his spiritual status. He thought Allah's currency was dollars. He didn't realize Allah's currency is piety. The poor friend listened to this blasphemy. He looked at this man who was drunk on his own ego, and he responded with the logic of truth. He didn't get angry. He didn't attack him. He asked him a simple question that shatters arrogance. His companion said to him while he was conversing with him, "Have you disbelieved in He who created you from dust, then from a spear drop, then proportioned you a man? Who do you think you are? You were dirt. Then you were a microscopic drop of fluid. You were weak. You were nothing. God built you up. God gave you the brain to plant these trees. God gave you the eyes to see them. How can you challenge the one who made you?" And then the poor friend gave him the code, the secret formula that protects wealth. He said, "When you entered your garden, why did you not say, 'What Allah willed'? There is no power except in Allah." This is the antidote. When you see your success, you attribute it to Allah's will, and you admit that you have no power to keep it. You think you grew these grapes. No, you just put the seed in the dirt. Allah cracked the seed. Allah sent the rain. Allah made the sun shine. Without Him, you have nothing. The poor friend warned him. He said, "You see me as poor. Maybe Allah will give me something better than your garden. And maybe He will send a thunderbolt from the sky upon your garden, and it will become a slippery, barren ground, or its water will sink into the earth, and you will never be able to find it." The rich man probably laughed. "Thunderbolts, sinking water, you're just jealous. Get out of my property." The conversation ended. The poor man went home to his poverty. The rich man went to sleep in his palace, surrounded by his empire. He slept soundly, he felt secure, but while he was snoring, the command of Allah came down, the Queen says. So it was encompassed by visitation from your Lord while they were asleep, a visitation, a calamity, a storm, a frost, a punishment from the unseen. It swept through the 2 gardens in the dark. It tore down the trellises, it withered the vines, it turned the green leaves into black ash, and the river, the bubbling spring that he thought was eternal. The earth opened up and swallowed the water deep underground. The land became dry, cracked, and dusty. In one night, the paradise became a wasteland. The sun rose, the rich man woke up. He stretched, he probably drank his coffee. He walked out to inspect his kingdom, expecting to see his grapes and his dates. He stepped outside, and he froze. He blinked. He rubbed his eyes. He couldn't recognize his own land. Where there were trees, there were just broken stumps. Where there was fruit, there was rotten mush. Where there was a river, there was a dry, dusty ditch. Silence, no birds, no rustling leaves, just the sound of the wind blowing over a graveyard of ambition. The Quran describes his reaction perfectly. It is the reaction of a man who has lost his soul, and his fruits were encompassed, so he began to turn his hands over what he had spent on it while it was fallen upon its trellises. He was wringing his hands.
Universal sigh of regret and helplessness. He was thinking about the money, all that investment, all that fertilizer, all that time.
But then, as the reality sank in, he realized the deeper truth. He remembered the words of his poor friend. He remembered his own arrogance, and he said the words he should have said yesterday. "I wish I had not associated with my Lord anyone." He realized that his polytheism wasn't that he worshipped an idol made of stone. His shirk was that he worshipped himself. He worshipped his means. He worshipped his wealth. He associated his own power with Allah's power, and now he was alone, and there was for him no company to aid him other than Allah, nor could he defend himself. Where were his men? Where were his employees? Where was his prestige? Could they stop the storm? Could they dig the water back up? No, he was helpless. This story is terrifying. But why do we read it every Friday? Because we are all the man with the 2 gardens. We live in a world of materialism. We are obsessed with securing the bag. We are obsessed with career growth, investment portfolios, and building our dream homes. And there is nothing wrong with having wealth. Islam allows you to be rich, but Islam forbids you from trusting your wealth more than you trust Allah. The moment you look at your job and think, I am secure, you are in danger. The moment you look at your health and think, I am fit, I won't get sick, you are in danger. The moment you look at your children and think, I raised them perfectly, they will never stray, you are in danger. You are challenging God, you are saying, I am in control, and Allah, out of His mercy, might break what you love, just to show you that you are not in control. He broke the garden to save the man's faith, because if the garden had stayed, the man would have died an arrogant disbeliever and gone to hell forever. The destruction of the garden was actually a mercy. It woke him up. So how do we protect our gardens? How do we keep our blessings? We use the password that the poor friend taught us. When you walk into your house, say, MashaAllah. When you see your children playing, say, MashaAllah. When you check your bank account, say, MashaAllah. When you look in the mirror, say, MashaAllah. Why? Because this is what Allah wanted. It transfers the ownership from you to Him. And there is no power to keep this or to create this, except from Allah. It is a declaration of humility. It is saying, this is yours. You let me hold it for a while. Please protect it for me because I cannot protect it myself. When you attribute the blessing to the owner increases it. When you attribute the blessing to yourself, the owner might take it back. The Dajjal, the Antichrist, will come at the end of time with a garden and a fire. He will try to trick us with material wealth. He will say, worship me, and I will give you food. Surah Al-Kahf teaches us to see through the illusion. It teaches us that a dry piece of bread with iman is better than a lush garden with arrogance. Don't be the man who wrings his hands when it's too late. Look at your blessings today. Realize how fragile they are. Realize that one storm, one phone call from the doctor, one market crash could wipe it all out. And then look up to the sky and say, Allah, I am weak and you are strong. This is your bounty. All praise belongs to you. That is how you keep your garden green in this life and the next.